All right, so this is Semen Retention and the Fight for Your Masculinity Part 10. The final installment of this set of videos. But just to wrap up what I was talking about previously, which I'll probably touch on again in future videos. But so I was talking about a situation with this girl, probably about, we in 2020, so it's probably about it started like a good 7 years ago. 7 or 8 years ago. Maybe even now. No, it was 2011. And then it transpired over the course of 4 or 5 years. But so when we initially had that falling out, of course it was on my mind. It was on my mind because, I had gotten so used to having conversations with her. And at that point in time, she was a different type of female that I had come across, because I wasn't really around at that time. You didn't really have a lot of women that were on, higher level thinking, individuals that questioned the system and was able to see beyond what was or what is, and understanding that a lot of things in society are fabricated, and they're not based on anything real, but an illusion of what certain powers and certain entities want us to think is reality, want us to think is the norm, So I was grateful for that at the time, because she let me know at that time that there was a different type of female out there compared to the one that I was in a relationship with, who I was previously in a relationship with, who really wasn't on a higher level of thinking. She was just very, very superficial and basic in how she assessed the world, and she will ultimately be somebody that I cut off too, for a multitude of reasons based off of principles alone. You know what I'm saying? But so me and this particular girl that I met after my breakup, I have to point out that, she was I could tell that she was just overall just very sensitive. And I cared about her just from, humanistic standpoint. You feel me? Somebody who I was developing an attraction for, who just kind of just came out of nowhere, But over time, as we hung out more, I started to notice things, just from a conversation. She was somebody that was just she had a very blah, in a sense of a blah sense of detachment from the world. It was almost nihilistic. And what I mean by nihilistic, for those who don't understand that terminology, is that nothing has any meaning. Nothing means nothing. And I'm just like, there's nothing wrong with feeling that way at certain points in time in your life. There's nothing, sometimes you just be like, man, this don't mean shit. But ultimately, the energy that she was putting out, I began to mirror that, and I began to feel this, we had a lot of conversations. We touched on a lot of things, just about the world, spirituality, but I began to notice contradictions within her, and certain things that she would say, but I recognized how she was starting to take me for granted. And then when shit hit the fan, I know that she wasn't somebody that I could really count on, because the situation did arise, and not that I was looking for her to, be a certain way, but I expected her to at least be more concerned or be more aware of just how serious the situation was. You know what I'm saying? But, it was a situation where, let's say 2015. Okay, so we speeded up. So eventually we ended up like with that following year, 2012, we ended up getting back in like touch with each other. You know, because I ran into her one day and I said, "What's up?" And then she ended up texting me, you know, but she wasn't necessarily direct about where she fucked up with me, you know. But she was just like, I let a lot of good dudes get away, and I'm just like, you know, when she was texting me this shit, initially she was just like, why haven't we talked in so long? And you know, I let a lot of good dudes get away, and I'm like, first of all, what the fuck does that have to do with me? You know what I'm saying? But it was like, you know, we started communicating again. It was as if really what led us to falling out, or not necessarily falling out. Well, yeah, like I'll just go ahead and say that we never addressed that situation, you know, and I paid attention to things that she was saying in conversations, and it's just like, damn, maybe you don't need to be with somebody like that, especially somebody who hasn't, you know, really healed from everything that they've been going through and stuff like that, you know, from their previous relationship and certain things that happened in the past before you even came in the picture. You know what I'm saying? So I recognize that some things that she stated, you know, like having fear of abandonment and fear of attachment. I'm like, damn, ain't got, you know, and as I thought about this, I'm like, damn, you know, I had some of those fears too, in a sense, but it wasn't in an extreme case. It's just a slight sense of distrust, like, you know, never never really knowing what a person is capable of. You know what I'm saying? And don't just give people the benefit of the doubt, because a lot of people are lost. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people would do shady, you know, underhanded shit. You know what I'm saying? But and so as time went on, I started to become less attracted to her, especially when it came to me. You know what my interests were compared to hers. You know, it was just such a disconnect. You know, and in regards to my purposes, things that I take very seriously, that if you respect me enough, if you respect me as an individual, you know not to say certain shit out of the way or just make it seem like it's less. You know what I'm saying? Because these things are very important in regards to the human collective and us moving forward, especially talking about like indigenous peoples and black people, black and brown people, and what we have to go through. You know what I'm saying? And how the system plays its mind game. You know what I'm saying? But that's another topic. So with her, it was just this sense of just like detachment and just like, okay, and blah. I got tired of that and started to lose attraction for her, you know. And then I started to realize how she was taking me for granted, you know, and how she was contradicting herself. Because the people that I saw her hanging out with, I'm like, first of all, from what you tell me when we have conversations, none of these people are even on your level, you know. And you recognize that you're going in a different direction, yet you still entertain them. When you telling me that y'all are growing distant, but when we link up and they're there, your friends, especially these two gay guys that she was like best friends with, you still hanging out with them. I see the difference. I see that they have a petty frame of mind. You know what I'm saying? Like they just something is just not something is not right. Like just low frequency. But I'm like, if you continue to associate yourself with them, then you must be like them. You must be them. But one thing I knew that when we would hang out and they would end up being there, it's like I just wanted that time for me and her just to kick it and have conversations. Conversations that I wasn't really having with anybody else, female wise. You know, even though there was other females that was interested in me. And I'm like, well shit, you know, if you and I gonna make this thing happen, then we need to make like, you know, what's it gonna be? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I wasn't all in either. I wasn't all in because there was too much. There was too much that I was questioning. Like, you know, I wasn't sure. But anyway, you know, I remember we were out one night on campus doing this a Relay for Life event, and me and her was sitting down. We were sitting down on a bench, not too far from all of the festivities, and she was just like, you know, when we graduate, it's like I ain't gonna never see none of these people again. We probably ain't even gonna talk again. I'm like, I don't got time for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like just such a negative outlook look on life. Like damn, like me and you, we be hanging out. So you pretty much telling me that this shit ain't even going. You know, I don't know what her frame of mind is, but you just seem to not care about life. You know, you just don't seem to care about that shit anymore. And so I ended up moving to Panama, right? And I knew before I moved because I had gone down to Daytona and shit, and I was on a trip, man, vibing, but she was still on my mind and stuff, you know. But it's like I had other girls that I knew that was like they wanted to be down then. While I'm over here still trying to figure out shit with her over the course of like so many years and shit, but wasn't trying to push nothing, you know. But so I got ready to move to Panama. I already knew I was like, man, we not even we're not even going to we're not I felt like we was gonna lose touch. And so I moved down to Panama and I was on Facebook and shit. And I'm like, I be posting stuff. But it's like it got to a point where it's like you don't even hit me up. You don't even just check in. I wasn't even asking for like attention, but more so just like, damn, just acknowledge me. Like, we done been friends for this long. Like, hit me up to check in on me sometime. You know what I'm saying? And so I seen her like liking posts. And I'm like, these are the most basic posts of like mutual friends that are not even on that level. And you over there on their page, but I don't know, you don't hit me up or nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so I pretty much ended it after that. But I had a feeling that I could already see it coming that we were gonna end up like pretty much parting ways, you know. And so speed it up to like last year, so that's 2015. I pretty much stopped talking to her, stopped fucking with her. I deleted the number, like she was out of my Facebook friends and stuff. And I'm gonna have to touch. This is already becoming a long video, but I got stuff in that relationship that I gotta break down and shit. Just in terms of just like when you get to that point of no longer want to associate yourself with somebody and you stop contacting them. You know what I'm saying? And you stop making yourself, because she didn't know I was going to do any of that. You know, I pretty much like went ghost. I went ghost. I got tired of it. I lost the trace. Everything. I just pretty much went ghost. You know, I was done. When I made that decision to end it, I was done. You know, and I didn't go back and forth with my emotions. Like that's some masculine thing. Like when you done with some shit, when you make a decision and you don't have time to be concerned with the outcome, because it's not about the outcome. It's about your needs, you moving forward, and you being in a frame of mind where your sense of happiness is not dependent on that person. Like you already got life. You got life to live. You know what I'm saying? You already have purpose. And you know that that's not going to be the last woman that you encounter or interact with. You know what I'm saying? And you continue on with your journey. You know? So I pretty much ended up stopped talking to her. We went probably a good 4 years. And I had no desire to reach out to her or nothing. When I was done, I was done. And so then sometime last year, she comes to my Facebook page and she likes a post. She likes a post of mine. And I'm like, man, most of my posts, my page is private, so you may find a few posts that are public from people that have, because people have asked me, hey, can you make this public? I want to repost this. So she liked the post of mine, but I'm like, she comes back and she likes a post, but she didn't send me a friend request. She didn't send me a message. But you like a post of mine. We ain't talked in years, you know. So I'm gonna end it on that note. Semen retention, the fight for your masculinity. This topic and the things that I discussed in this video are gonna go over into other videos and stuff, and we talk about other things like relationships and just people and just, getting in tune with universal laws and being in tune with yourself. You know what I'm saying? So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll holler back at you. Love. Salud.